Well, guys, we are live. Welcome to the Zapata Brand Boxing Podcast brought to you by Ringside. Go to ringside.com/podcast, where you too can get upwards of 40% off selected brands. Well, guys, this past weekend, the Cinco de Mayo big weekend, saw Canelo Alvarez get back into the ring, and which is usually his time to get into the ring right around Cinco de Mayo and then Mexican Independence Day in September. He got into the ring with Jaime Mungia, a very tough, vulnerable opponent, which I thought. And there's been a few things. There's been some people that say he looked really good. Some people said he looked average. Some people he said he slowed down so much. And I've taken a little bit of both sides of this and kind of put it together in the way I thought he looked. I would say he looked good for the level of opposition. Not take anything away from Jaime Mungia. I think Jaime Mungia is a very formidable opponent. You're not 43-0 for nothing. And he looked good, I thought. I thought what he did was similar to what Mayweather would do in the first few rounds, because Mungia looked great. Rounds 1 to 3, and then upward until he got hit with the uppercut and was dropped. He looked good. Fast jab. He definitely had some pop behind it, applying good pressure, looked faster, and I thought this might be the night that Canelo gets old right before our eyes. Then the knockdown happens, and, that was the end of that. I thought he says he let his foot off the gas. I don't buy that. I don't think any fighter does that. What I feel is that he wanted to cruise to a decision, knew he had it in the bag, and that was the end of that. I do think, though, if he fought someone like a Benavidez, and I'm tired of you're going to fight David Benavidez, you're not going to fight. I'm tired of it. It's kind of time to be like, either you are or you're not. Doesn't matter. There are plenty of other people out there. Should he fight David Benavidez? Yes, everybody said that. Everybody knows he should fight him. So take that and put that on the back burner, because it's not going to happen anytime soon. You have now the Beterbiev fight is going to be postponed. Benavidez is going to fight Vozdek, and that's going to put them out even further. So it makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. So let's put that out of the way. What do I think he's looking at is probably lining up a fight with Berlanga, because Berlanga was the big winner over the weekend. He was everywhere. He was all over. He was all over media. He was picking fights with people. It was pretty good. He was actually pretty good, and he's one of those superstars. He has the it factor with him, and especially he's Puerto Rican. He can attract that crowd, and it's very good for him to slide right into a fight with a Canelo. So my opinions on Canelo and Mungia, I'll get to both. I think Canelo had a fight, and he fought to his opposition. Once he knocked him down, I think he knew, I got this in cruise control. I knew he knew Mungia couldn't hurt him. And he's a rock solid chin. I just didn't think he was going anywhere. And I think he would cruise. Now, I said with Kevin Ioli here on I think it was Friday, maybe Thursday, and I said I thought that Mungia would win and upset the apple cart. Now, let me go to Mungia. Mungia is still, I think, a good fighter at 43-1 now. But I think he's not at that level yet. Similar to what Canelo was at 23 when he fought Mayweather. He just, I thought, got caught up in everything that was going on. He looked great at first, and then he kind of tailed off. He gave everything he had. There's no way you can sit there and tell me that he didn't have what it took to win this fight. He has a lot of skill. He's a tough Mexican fighter. I like that about him. I actually started to become a Mungia fan when I was seeing all these press conferences and the fight itself. This guy fights. This guy absolutely fights. The problem was, I think he was over his head, and he doesn't have the experience. And I look at this when I remember I talked to Tevin Farmer about this. He said he wished he had the mentality that he has now with the skills he now and the skills he had years ago. I think about that same way. When I'm sparring kids that are a lot quicker, a lot faster, a lot younger than me, um, I have that mentality. I'm pretty good. Like I could say, okay, I'm safe here. I know what I'm doing. I could catch here. I could move this way. I'm pretty good that way. Pretty good, and I feel that I can handle myself. Because I have the experience, and I think Mungia was in a fight where it was a big fight for him. A lot of people were in the tremendous uh, outpouring of Mexican fans there. So he was on the outset kind of fighting on his back foot because, not him necessarily because he was moving forward. He just had the odds stacked against him right out of the gate, right out of the gate. So he had to be 100% good, 100% on point, and I think he was as much as he could be against Canelo. Canelo picked the spots right. I thought his jab looked good. I thought that looked good. I think he's incredibly strong, incredibly strong. The problem I see with Canelo fighting someone like Benavidez is the stuff that Mungia couldn't do because of the pressure situation, getting hit by Canelo. I think David Benavidez can get through that. I don't, and that, normally I would say I think Canelo still wins. What I saw, and I've always counted Canelo out so a bunch of times. So please don't kill me if this doesn't happen. But I think what I saw there was someone who was starting to climb quicker. Like he doesn't have the slickness that he had. Good, decent head movement, but decent head movement for Mungia. He wouldn't have decent head movement for Benavidez. Benavidez is a lot longer. I think that'd be a problem for him down the road. Eventually, it would be, whether it be round 6 through 10, because you can't take that kind of punishment consistently for 12 rounds. Eventually, it gets to you. Do I think Benavidez would stop him? I don't know. It's still up in the air. But again, I'm not going to go to that fight. That fight is, I think it's so far off the table. I predicted it would happen in 2025. I'm going to stick to that prediction because I think there's one thing he would do, and that would be Canelo that would do was fight Benavidez at the end, towards the end of his career, if that's where it was. So let's real quickly, because I really haven't been on for a little bit by myself. This is my first live, and I appreciate anyone, and there is really nobody watching, but that's okay. I just get my thoughts out there right now. Let me quickly talk about Ryan Garcia's situation. Ryan Garcia, I don't care what anybody says. I think Ryan Garcia is guilty, but I'm not going to say he's guilty until he's proven innocent. Or reverse. Let me reverse that. He's innocent until proven guilty. Okay. But it doesn't look good. I mean, it's so bad. It is really bad. You cannot test positive for 2 different substances, and then someone said it's a third. You got to know you're putting this in your body. You have to know, especially if you're a professional athlete, upwards of $30 million in a fight like this. You got to know what's going in your body. I wouldn't be surprised if this was something that didn't really ruin his reputation. The only difference is there's a lot of casuals that have and won't care. This is and I said it to my brother. It's honor amongst thieves, where they all know that everybody's cheating. Everybody knows. Everybody knows who's cheating, and they just don't say anything because I think they all know that they got. And again, to have Victor Conte in the business, to have that guy Mimo in the business, this is dirty, dirty sport, man. This is dirty. This is as dirty as you can. These guys are around. Don't tell me that these guys all of a sudden turn good and they're not provide. Everybody wants an edge, whether it's in business, whether it's in athletics, whether it's in relationships. Everyone wants an edge. It just depends morally what you're willing to do to get that edge. And I do believe he put that stuff in his body. I do believe he knew, but I think he got caught. And that's it. People I don't believe it. Nandrolone is something that, matter of fact, Fernando Vargas got caught with that. That is one that usually pops up. It usually pops up in boxing. But again, there's other ones that are not that haven't popped up that I'm shocked of. LG 4033 that hasn't popped up yet. GW 50 15 16 that hasn't popped up yet. In boxing, it's popped up in basketball. I saw, and in baseball a little bit, and I'm shocked about that it hasn't popped up. But eventually, it's going to pop up, and they're gonna see that. GW 501516 is the one that is similar to EPO with the red blood cells. I know this from talking to a guy who basically distributes it, and he told me the pros and cons of it. So this stuff's going to be around for a while, and you're always looking to get an edge. So I think eventually, it'll catch up. Someone will catch it, and then someone will find something to mask that to move to get another drug in there. It's just what it is in boxing. I think it's not in any sports when you got millions and millions of dollars at stake. Excuse me. and it's true that this happens a lot. So don't bear with me here on this, because I know everyone says you got it. You can't say that he's guilty, but it sure doesn't look good, Ryan. It doesn't look good. He's kind of quiet now, and then they're blaming Victor Conte, saying that he has. I don't think I don't think VADA would risk their reputation for Victor Conte anyway. So again, I'm gonna reserve my opinion till after the fact come out, but I do believe he did it. I know that sounds contradiction, but I don't want to say yes, 100% he did it, but it don't look good. It don't look good. I would hope he didn't do it, but I do believe he did it. But let's wait till it comes out, and then I'll have a definitive answer like everyone's. I mean, he did test positive. There's no doubt about it. So he tested positive. How it got in, oof, doesn't look good, Ryan. Doesn't look good. Well, the other night, the monster Inoue from Japan got knocked down the first round with a hook. Did like a spinning. It looked like a corkscrew going down, and but he got back up and knocked out Luis Nery in the I forget what round it was. I think it was around 5 or 6. I forget. But a lot of people like this guy Inoue, the monster. I'm not that high on him. I know Ness from the boxing voice isn't as high on him either. He just doesn't. I don't know what it is about him. I have no idea why everyone says he's the next coming, but I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it with him. They said he has this one punch knockout power, and it looked like he did, but I don't know. It didn't seem to me like he was. I mean, Luis Nery is not great, but everybody knew he was gonna. Everyone knew he was gonna get knocked out. It wasn't like it was a tough fight for him. So I don't understand it. I don't understand the infatuation with in a way, saying that he's 1 or 2 in a pound per pound list. Terrence Crawford, number 1, I think, is number 1. But I'm not sure. I'm not sold on him yet. He's going to have to show me a little bit more. I don't know who he would fight that would convince me of it, but let's see him come to the United States and fight. Come to the States and fight. I know he's fought before here, evidently, but let's see him come here, because this is the place where you're going to have to kind of, sharpen your teeth here in the United States. The fighters here have a different style, and they train a little bit different. Now, I will say, someone had told me that they have brought over a lot of trainers from here over to Japan to train these people. So the styles are almost similar now. It still remains to be seen. I think that it is a overreach to say that he is this incredible monster. Now, he did get up off the deck and he did win, so I give him credit for that. But it's still Nery. It's not a top 3 guy. Let's see how it goes before you anoint this guy. Reminds me a little bit of Chocolito, where they really put him on top of the pedestal and he got knocked out. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in the next 3 fights. And let me go back to the Ryan situation for a second. Everyone was saying how great Ryan is now, even after the failed drug test. Okay, let's see Ryan's next fight. Let's see how that goes, because they've jumped on his bandwagon. Maybe Devin Haney wasn't as good as we thought, and Ryan Garcia is just a mid-level guy. I want to see his next fight. I'm curious to see how he does in the next fight, because I think Ryan would get beat in his next fight, because I don't think anyone's going to be is going to deal with this shenanigans that he's pulling. They're coming in overweight, not I think they would stop the fight. I think he would say, "No, I ain't fighting." We'll see what happens because now he's played his card once. You only get one of those cards. Now they're going to be prepared, whether it was in the contract or not, and that was on the Haney's camp. That's not going to pass anymore. It won't happen. So those two fights happened. Let's see what's coming up this weekend. This weekend we have a good fight, but I don't think it's as exciting as it's going to be played out. George Kambosas against Vasily Lomachenko. I like Loma. I like him a lot. Good fighter. Is he getting a little old? But I think he's young enough where he could take out Kambosas. I don't know if he'll knock him out. I think he'll overwhelm him and somehow stop him later. Kambosas is tough. He's a tough fighter. But you're fighting against one of the top guys. Now, he's been out for a little bit. He's been out for a minute. But he is a top fighter. If he remains on that level that he was back in the day, which he can't because he's getting older, but he hasn't had those beatdowns, if he can remain, I think he has another shot at a title. I really think someone can give him a shot, and whether they beat him or not, they're going to fight a guy who's could get a Lomachenko on your record. That's important. You get a guy like that, he's one of the top. He was probably one of the top fighters for the better part of the ending of HBO's. So whenever that was, I always thought, oh, this guy's going to be unbelievable. And I really even couldn't have pronounced his name back then. I just called him Loma. And him and Triple G, they were never coming along. I said, man, these guys are going to be phenomenal fighters. And it turns out that they are. Triple G, I don't even know where he's at now. He may have retired. But he's definitely not. He's definitely one of these guys who had that it factor. And Loma, I think, is the same way. He has that style. He has the ability to turn a fight quickly. It's hard to hit him. Can't hit him real flush. He's got determination. He's got the pedigree. He's got over 300 amateur fights. I think he only has 15 or 12 fights, or 12 or 15 fights as a pro, but numerous world titles. This guy's a good fighter. And I think this weekend will be his showcase. Whether it's his swan song where he's only got a couple more left, I don't know. But he certainly has some things in his going for him here, fighting on ESPN. I believe this is. I think it's going to be an ESPN show. I don't know if it's free or not. I'm going to check real quickly if you want to bear with me here. Let me see. Kambosas. Looks like I spelled it wrong. And it is going to be TV. It's a live stream. ESPN Plus. I believe it's free though. Yeah, ESPN Plus. I don't know if you have ESPN Plus or not. I don't know how that works. Cause I really don't deal with the streaming networks. I go to ppv.com. That's the best one because you don't have to get a subscription. I think they have most of the fights on there. I'm not positive, but most of those fights are on there, and those are the better fights anyway. And why would you pay, what is it, $200, $200 a month, or $200 a year or something? It might even be more than that to get. Then you got to pay for the fight itself. It's an on-demand. PPV.com is an on-demand streaming service that you go right to it. You get the fight that you want and move on. That's it. You don't have to, because my wife gets Netflix a lot. And she gets Netflix, and it's, to me, I'm like, well, I don't need any of this crap. I don't want any of this crap. And then I have to pay for it, and there's not half the stuff I don't watch. Let's see. Okay, we got to set here. Not to avert from the topic, but what was up with NOA fight? I didn't even know he was fighting. Yeah, no, you're right. NOA, it was 5 a.m. on ESPN. So kind of not the best because he fights in Japan, so they wanted to, he's more popular in Japan. He's I think he's sold out the Tokyo Dome, to be honest with you. So he's huge over there. And the first round he got knocked down, and he got hit with I believe a left hook, but he was throwing a punch, so he did like a corkscrew and went down, belly down. I don't think he was hurt because he got up and it just looked really bad. And when he hit the ground, he didn't know what the hell was going on. He got up, he was pissed. He got up and absolutely destroyed Neary. I mean, but I still don't buy into this whole monster anyway hype. Not yet. He's got to fight somebody that's going to put him to the next level. Come to the United States. I mean, you could say, oh, well, he fought Fulton. Okay, that's fine. I don't, I'm not buying that. I look at these guys' next fights. They're not the greatest. If you go through his record on Boxing Rec, I don't see too many. Let me go real quickly to Boxing Rec here. In a way is a. Oh, well, why not? Why not? You know, the way today's been going for me is just ridiculous. Okay, what do I got here? You want to see him fight Raymond Ford? That would be a great fight. Raymond Ford. I love Raymond Ford. He's a Jersey guy, Camden, New Jersey. Yeah. Now Raymond Ford. I would favor Raymond Ford. People wouldn't say that, but I favor Raymond. It's just something about guys that are built up this way that I don't. You got to show me something first. Show me something, anything first. And yes, because well, he's won all these belts, and yeah, but still, the monster in a way. I don't even know how to spell it. There it is. Okay, so his Boxing Rec. Let's see if they could show it here. Okay, let's just go to his Boxing Rec. 27-0. He's got the WBA, WBCW, IBF. So he's okay. Lewis Neary, he knocked out or TKO round 6. Okay, and Stephen Fulton knocked out in 8. Stephen Fulton was 21-0. Still a good fighter. I don't know. I don't see anything on this record that, and most of these fights are in Japan. I don't know. I don't see anything on here that, all these lighter weight guys, the records are deceiving because I think anybody can beat anybody at any time. They really don't have something, man, I just don't see it. Everybody thinks it's fantastic, but Stephen Fulton was a good fighter. I'll say that. He was a good fighter. But, if they're fighting, yeah, all right, he's a good fighter. But other than that, I think he should come here. Raymond Ford, you were right. So you're right. That is a fight that I'd love to see. Him also being the smaller division. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The star power. Like Pacquiao started at 112 or 115, right around there, but he ballooned all the way up. And I've always been suspect of the fighters that fight somewhere else and then come here to the United States and fight. And it's almost like Pride when they were over there. Anything goes, whatever. And all of a sudden they come here and they're losing 10 fights. So I've always been suspect about that. Always been suspect about that. To say that he doesn't have the star power in Japan, he does. He has a lot of star power in Japan. United States, different ball game. You got to start him from scratch, and I don't know if he'd have to get with the right promotion and push him. He does not speak English. That's hard to do. I mean, look at how high Canelo's status went too when he's fighting, when he's learning English and fighting in the United States. His status jumped tremendously. And a lot of it was because of the fact that he learned how to speak English. And when you do that, it helps. That really helps. So again, it was not so much that, not so much that he has to come here to be a superstar. He could be a superstar in Japan. But calling him the best in the world or one of the top 2, I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't know, Stogie, if you see something that I don't see, but I think you're right on with Raymond Ford. I like Raymond Ford a lot. Raymond Ford does have a fight coming up, and I forget who it's against, and I should be more on top of it. Just I've had a lot of stuff going on here at my business. It's been a total nightmare. I've had a LED TV screen that had my menu fall for no apparent reason. Evidently, they just fall out of the sky randomly. I've had my air conditioner go down. I got a ridiculous quote on that price. So I haven't been having a good couple days. So I haven't been on top of it. I did see the pay-per-views um this weekend, but this one was on 5 a.m. and I didn't know. Raymond Ford's next fight is going to be, and I did see it. It is going to be 2024. Let's see. June 1st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That's right. That's where I did see it. And I forget who he's fighting. Was it Nick Ball? I think it's Nick Ball, that guy who fought before. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that's who it is. Yes, it is. June 1st. Nick Ball. I did see that. Nick Ball. He had a great fight on the undercard of Ngannou and Joshua. I saw that fight, and that's the first time I ever saw Nick Ball. He's a little wild and crazy, but he's a guy. He'll give Raymond Ford all he can handle. But I love Raymond Ford. I do. After that fight that he came back in the last round, knocked that Russian guy out. Man, he's really done well. Um, but I think if he's gonna get that unification title fight against Ball June 1st, stinks because the Better B fight is out, but the 5-on-5 is there too. So, what's your thoughts on the pay-per-view list? Some people have power panelists Crawford and giving him over divisions. I like his KO skill, but Bud's the best. Yeah. So to me, Bud Crawford is the best, pound for pound. Now, I didn't even think he was going to beat Spence, which shows you how much, I lacked respect, and I should have. I should have respected him more. I had total lack of respect for him. I really didn't think much of him, and I didn't see much of him, to be quite honest with you. With Top Rank, I didn't really get to see him. Top Rank didn't push him as much as they should have. They had really dropped the ball with Crawford. In my opinion, I think Bud Crawford is 1, and I still don't think. I think anyways, maybe 4 or 5. 4 or 5. I think Benavidez 2, Canelo 3, and I only say that because I think Benavidez beats Canelo right now because of just what I saw over the weekend. I thought it was not the best. It was the best to beat Jaime Mungia. It is not the best to beat someone like David Benavidez. Not to say that he's, not that he's done, because all these great fighters have one more in them, one last shot left in them. The Evander Holyfields, not Mike Tyson so much, the De La Hoyas, the Shane Mosleys. They have one more good fight when you think they're on the end of their career. Margarito got knocked out by Mosley. Holyfield beats Bo. They always have that one last one that you never know. All of a sudden, boom, next thing you know, there they are. And they win. They pull one out of the hat, but then the next fight's totally disaster. And usually that's what happens. Usually. We have another one here. Knight Rider. Why won't Lee fight Harry? Okay. Here's what I feel. From what I understand, and this is going to the RX Muscle debacle that's going on my brother's channel. They're straight out of Jersey Jay-Z. It is on our platform, but it's a spinoff. They have different people. He does bodybuilders, wrestlers, and stuff like that. Does a live with Greg Valentino every Thursday. He just had Greg Gagne on. He's having other people on coming up. I think he's having Diamond Dallas Page. He's going to get on a couple other people. He had Buff Bagwell on. Great interviews that he does. But he does lives with them. In my opinion, I think, from what I understand, Larry is in no shape to fight. Not built wise. I think he has some issue with his knees. That's what I thought. I'm not 100% positive. I don't know. If they wanted to fight, which I don't understand what or why they would. These guys are 2 older guys. Why they would, I have no idea. But if they did, I think Lee has the advantage because he's a younger. I believe he's younger, but he's just in better shape. I don't think physically Larry can. I don't think so. Just from what I understand, from what I'm hearing from the back, I don't know. But I'd pay to see it. Why not? I would. I just think it'd be fun. What the hell? I mean, I tell you what, I would fight Romano. I'd box him. Uh, they say he's a good guy. I think he's a little smug for me. I don't like the way he talked about Mr. J. I don't like that at all. And I don't care about what he does. He can do whatever he wants. But I will tell you this: I'd fight him if anytime he wanted to. We can set it up. They said they don't want to do charity, or whatever. I'll do a charity or whatever they want. That is one guy that I would fight. I would fight him. But Knight Rider, thanks for joining the chat. Sogi again. Okay, Sogi Azul. Sogi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. George, my name's pronounced Sogi. Oh, there you go. And yeah, not even just Bud Skill. I wasn't expecting him to be. I know. I didn't expect that. I was on the Sean Porter Way podcast right before the fight. It was the week before the fight. I was in Vegas, and I was like, "Yeah, I think Spence is going to stop him." The hate I got in the comments was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe how much hate I got for saying that someone was going to lose. Wow, did I get hate? Jeez. I heard Spence to himself. Yeah, I mean, even like that past weekend when everyone had Haney winning. I mean, Haney. I like Haney a lot. He was unbelievably nice to my kids. We saw him out in Vegas that same weekend. Great kid. I loved the way he interacted with my kid and my wife. He was really cool. And I thought, man, but he was so on point. His stuff was so together. I just don't know if it was that he took him for granted, or was he not as good as we thought he was? Obviously, they fought a bunch of times. But man, the beating he took, that's a beating that sometimes you do not come back from. You don't sometimes, and that's scary. Okay, Larry has had many fights, so whereas Lisa, none. Okay, and good point, Knight Rider, but let me explain to you something. And I don't know how deep you are into boxing or fighting and physical. You may, I don't know. But either way, your opinion, I value. Okay, the difference is, let's take this fight happening with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I've had people from the outside of boxing, the outside of the combat sports world tell me Mike Tyson's going to kill him. He's going to absolutely kill Jake Paul. The people in boxing know if it's a real fight, Jake Paul knocks out Mike Tyson and it won't go past 3 or 4. I know that sounds ridiculous. That is the truth. It's 58's 58. If you're not in good shape, you're not in good shape. I mean, physically. I mean, if you're not in good shape, Tyson looks like he's in good shape. The other thing you got to know too is, yes, you're seeing 30 seconds or less than that. You're seeing about 5 seconds of a clip of Mike Tyson. 5 seconds. That stuff's edited and pushed up fast. Release the whole tape. It's not good. It's not good he's not in good shape. He's not physically in the shape. Look, he fought Roy Jones years ago and looked bad. Everyone's like, well, he looked good. He wasn't allowed to hit him in the face. Roy Jones was scared to death to get hit by Mike Tyson in the face. He didn't look good. I thought, man, this could be bad. He looked bad. He just looked bad. I mean, that was years ago. Mike Tyson has done a lot of harm to his body. Don't kid yourself. 58 is 58. He gets knocked out within 4 rounds. Look, you might say what you want. This is not a real fight. You can't tell me with 16 ounce. It's different between 12 ounces or 10 ounces and 16s. I fight with 16s when I fight in the Masters. There's a big difference. I could stand in there and bang with anybody with 16 fights. 12 ounce gloves or 10 ounce gloves, you are not hanging in there. Especially in our division, heavyweight division, they all punch hard. Everybody punches hard. It's just, but again, you could be right. I think Larry and Lee, it comes down to who physically can get through the fight. Not in shape, because I think they'll both have about 10 to 12 swings in them, and that's about it. It's physically. I had a shoulder issue. I couldn't fight last month or last 2 weekends ago. I had a fight scheduled. I had to pull out. a bicep tear, quad tear. That stuff happens as you get older, as you're approaching and getting older. That's what happens. So if you're not physically able to get into that ring, you're 58. I don't know how Knight Rider. Do you know how old Larry is and Lee? If you could put it there in the chat so I can know, and I could kind of break it down a little bit more. Nah. Yeah, after Devin lost and you made a video, it sounded like you were giving it. I know. You're the second person who said that. I have a. I wasn't like. It wasn't that, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if you guys are you the? Let me see if I have his picture here. Let me see if this is you, Sogi. Let me see. Is this you? I don't know if it is. But someone gave me that picture and he said that he said he was doing a eulogy. It did, because I like Devin. I like Devin a lot. He's a good dude. And I was so aggravated that he lost because Ryan was pulling those antics and pissed me off beyond belief. And then he came in overweight, which was bad. Then he pops for 2, if not 3, banned substances. This is boxing. And you're right. Devin is the one fighter that sometimes I lean a little bit more towards. Because I think of all the stuff that he does well and the stuff that his father does well for him. His father's very protective of him and puts him in a bubble where he can make as much money as he can for as little risk as he can, a little risk out there. He's a good fighter too. He's got great skills. But yeah, Sogi, I appreciate that. Yeah. Let me know if that was you or I know my brother's at the barbershop. The guy said it. Not exactly sure, but I'd say late 50s. I do agree with you about Tyson. I'm a fan and worried he won't last. Paul, I can't stand Paul, but I think he may win. I think he may win. Yes, I think he will. Unless some wild and crazy crap happens. George Djokovic is a friend of mine. He has a guy who's in with Netflix and said that most boxing fans will be upset about this, but the casuals will love this. So I don't know what that meant, but they did say it was a fight. I did reach out to the State Athletic Commission because they not only do they handle exhibitions, they handle real fights. They said it was a real fight going on their book, but I don't know if they're using 16-ounce gloves. Can that be a real fight? There's a few certain things you can't not do to make it an official fight. I'm not sure if it's that. I know it's weight-wise. There's certain weights you can't make it an official fight. I know that. And also with title fights, can't happen. So that's important. You got to definitely make the weight to have that title fight, and you can't go from one weight class to another and not being a fight. Like you can't have a heavyweight fight middleweight, and say, okay, that's going to be an official fight. It can't happen. I can look right now. Let me look right now. Knight Rider, Lee Priest. Lee Priest is 51. Okay, and I know Larry's older than that. I know he is. So Lee Priest, I would say, has the advantage. He's just younger. Guys, I'm 48. Okay, and getting up in the morning is a bitch. It just is. Your body does not bounce back like you said. I pulled out of the fight. I essentially pulled out in March after I was sparring a kid. And this, again, it's no knock on this kid. No knock at all. He's got a couple fights. He don't got many. Okay. And he was beating the brakes off of me. And I knew right then, because I couldn't move my shoulder, I needed to pull out. He beat he's 30, maybe 30. I think he's younger than that. He beat the brakes off me. And I knew right then and there, this fight is over. I'm pulling out and I have to get the shoulder done. And they're gonna take that. I have a second MRI coming. When is it? Thursday. Next Thursday I do. And then we'll see how we move to there, but it looks like it's scheduled for October. I'll fight him. I don't know. So no, I'm the one that works with Dennis, and I'm the one that said, "Oh yeah, that's right. That is right." Now you say, "Okay, okay, all right." Now, oh yeah, Coach Diz told me about that, and he said, "You sound like you're doing a eulogy." And yeah, no, funny, Sogi, I was like, Dennis can tell you, I was like, I can't believe this happened," because I went to bed. I was watching it, and I was like, I'm going to bed. Because I did if I would have saw the first round, I would have stayed up. But I was like, you know what? It's gonna be a stupid fight. It's Ryan's not gonna want to fight. Little did I know. Whoa, whoa! Did he get it? Did he get his ass kicked? And it was right. It was right within that first couple seconds he got hit, and he was done. Um, you just saw his UGG boots flying off, and he was a mess. So at that point, what are you gonna do? Um, he was kinda in survival mode. But if you look at the fight though, he actually he actually didn't do so bad considering he was out in the first round. It reminded me of a little bit of Shane Mosley, Vernon Forrest when Shane Mosley was I've never seen someone get hit with an uppercut like that and get up. Never, ever seen someone get hit like that and get up. I mean, Vernon Forrest came from Florida, gained steam in North Carolina and hit that guy pow on the chin. And I mean, Mosley kind of stood up, but his head rocked back when he went down. He was flying around. So he didn't look so bad, but that was one of the worst punches I saw. So it was and that kind of threw him off. Now Mosley did okay. Mosley did okay, but it's similar to what he was out of it. That first round, that first shot took him out. First shot, first shot. I mean, it was definitely a bad situation for him. Let me switch this up to here quickly and do that. No, it's just the Potter brothers. They're not in here. Where the heck are they? There. So yeah, no, definitely a good fight over the weekend. A couple good fights coming up. I really appreciate that. That you guys are listening here. We got a couple guys on here now. If there's any more questions here, because I do have there is one more. There we go. I want to be honest. From the eye test, Ryan didn't look like he was on the. No, you're right. You're 100% right. He didn't. I even said he looks soft. If nothing else, he looked kind of soft. So the eye test, I thought he passed. I said, man, uh, I guess he didn't, but no, I didn't look so great. And his stamina wasn't the greatest. So that's why that's what tends me to believe that he did use, only because he was able to go through. He wasn't in shape. It didn't look like he was in shape, and he was able to go through that. What Austrian does is a couple things. Get stronger tendons, stronger bone structure. It does provide a little bit of a your red blood cells produce more, so it gives you more oxygen, so it gives you that stamina you need. And the nandrolone, that's the dangerous one there. That one is, I mean, that one's bad. And you're right by what you're saying is like he rested in spots to get his time. I really think he was in such bad shape. Haney was in such bad shape that he couldn't get to the next. He couldn't it wouldn't have mattered what he did. He was not hurting Ryan Garcia. No matter what he did, was not hurting him. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal for him at that point. And it definitely was big deal. So where is that comment here? There it is. But you're right. You're 100% right. I mean, the eye test, no, it didn't look on the juice, but Jesus Christ. If you're popping for 2, possibly 3. I mean, also who's monitoring this? Whoever your nutrition guy is, get rid of them, because they always have somebody in there that knows what they're doing, knows exactly when to cycle off. They know somebody. Somebody was either off. Now, I will also say this though: Austrian has been known to be contaminated. A lot of them have been known to be contaminated. So, but the nandrolone is the one. That's the key one. That is the one that he 100% ingested. 100%. I do believe they said that you have to inject that. So 100% That is, and I talked to somebody who knows. I mean, he 100% knows a nandrolone. He knows it very well. That is one of these that you don't mess with. As far as boxing wise, you got to know exactly when to come off of it and exactly when to do it. The ostarine can the metabolites can get the nandrolone metabolites can get stuck in your fatty cells. So you're cutting weight, that's going to pop up. It could be a picogram. When you cut weight, that's going to pop up. Similar to what John Jones, you got a picogram in some point that was in your body. Some point, whether contaminated or not, that was in your body. And then when you cut weight, sometimes they stick into the fatty tissue in your body. You cut weight, that goes away. That pops up like that. That was told to me by a scientist. So, eventually this is all going to come out as to where it was, what happened. But I agree. I think VADA is a very good agency. I don't know why Ryan Garcia is going on to attack them about Victor Conte. Now, it is a bad look optic-wise. It is a bad look because Victor Conte is essentially a scientist. He knows exactly what to do, when to do it. He's a very smart guy. Who would have thought of coming up with gummy bears that are steroids? Who would have thought about coming up with a cream and a clear? And I mean, that takes a lot to do. That takes a lot. And that's a pretty smart guy. And then to get caught, go to prison for it, then you come out and you open up a company called Snack and work with VADA. I mean, that's a smart dude. He's a good marketer. If nothing else, he's a good marketer. But he essentially has every high end athlete that I know in the boxing game is touched somehow by, and it's the ones that I know. I don't know of everybody, but the ones that I know, Snack has touched them. I don't know why, but it seems to work. Seems to work. I mean, every advantage you can get, take it. But it comes with a cost. If you're cheating, you're cheating. These are the rules you abide by. If you can, it's funny. Like, I'll give you an example. Stitch Duran told me one time that there was a cut in the corner that he knew was not going to stop. He told the ref, hey, we're stopping this fight because we're ahead on the scorecards. That's not cheating. That's taking advantage of the situation at hand. You had a bad cut that could not be closed. He knew it. And when you have a guy like Stitch Duran in your corner who knows what he's doing, you got to that gives you the advantage now. But you had Stitch Duran. You didn't have anybody else. Nobody else in the corner. Nobody else. So he knows. And if you have someone like that, hey, good for you. Good for you. I'm all for it. I really am. It's the cheating stuff that gets me crazy. People are cheating like that. It not only puts you at risk, it puts everybody at risk. Because now everyone's questioning everybody. And I know when you sit there and you question people, you look at them and say, I think he might be on something. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. If I know and I'm a low-level boxing guy, I'm like low level. I know people that are in the business. I know people that have touched the top. But I'm a low-level guy. I'm more of an amateur contender, 2 title guys. Know a lot of managers and journalists, but I'm low. I don't get involved in much of that stuff. But when you look at them, you're kind of like, oh boy, and you just know. But you know what? You look at the other guy too, and he's doing the same thing. So it's who has the best pharmacy. It's an amazing. It's again, honor amongst thieves. Honor amongst thieves. Where that means is boxing going, I don't know. Certainly not getting cleaned up, but where are we at now here? Time was 49 minutes. I'll go about 10 more, and that's about it for the day. I had a long day today. Today was one of those days where if it could go wrong, it did go wrong. I didn't even get my workout in. Like I said, the LED screens that I have that I pull my menus on, they fell today. No apparent reason other than maybe the wind blew. The air conditioner's down. As you could tell, it's hot in here. Very hot. Who has the best pharmacy? Right now, anybody associated with Victor Conte and this guy named Mimo. There's another guy that I know out of South Florida. Don't know his name. I wouldn't say it anyway, but I know Victor Conte is out there. He puts stuff out there, so I could say that because that's what he does. Mimo is the other guy that was out there. He was caught numerous times. So there's another guy in South Florida that has a lot of stuff, but he tends to go down there. Anytime there's a guy from South Florida that I see, kind of raises questions a little bit, kind of raises my hours. Um, but they're also smart people. They're smart. They know what they're doing. They know how. They're track and field guys. They're Olympic people. Those are the top upper echelon of PED use. They're the top of the top. So you figure these guys are getting, they're getting watched constantly, constantly. Can't slip up. Pop-up tests. You got to pee in the cup, and they're gonna watch you. You better not get stage fright because they're watching. They're right there. They pop up anytime, anywhere, and you got to keep a log of where you're at. That's on you. It's not on them. It's on you. So, um, I don't think there's many other people that I know that are at that upper echelon. The other ones are all underground. You can't see them. There will not be, anytime when I saw strength and conditioning coaches getting involved in boxing, I knew something was up. I knew it. And I just started seeing it right around when Holyfield started coming in. That's when you had these guys and you had these HBO segments where they had these guys training and lifting. And the guy that was with Lee Haney, he was with Holyfield for a long time. Not to say that he was. I'm not accusing anybody, but I'm saying that's when you started seeing a lot of these things pop up. But again, if I know a lot of these drugs that are not out there, legit, they're not out there. I haven't seen anyone pop for those two drugs that I said, and I haven't, except basketball players. But I know in boxing, I know they're out there. I know they are. They're out there, and I know people use it. That's their choice. Their choice. Their body. Do what you want. I don't mess with them. You do what you do. They're not my fighters. I don't care. I'm not the one. That's not going to be on my hands. But ultimately, they make their own choices. This is America. You do what you want. Allegedly, I don't know. But what time is it now? 55. Okay, we're going to go a little bit longer here. A couple more minutes. If anybody has anything else, if anyone wants to jump on, jump on. Good. Come on. I'd gladly put you on. Let's see here. We'll go down here. So the next couple months are going to be really interesting in boxing. A lot of people coming on. The big Riyadh season is going to be incredible. Probably one of the best cards of the year. But I'll talk with Kevin Iole and George Djokovic. And Percy Crawford, I want to get him back on. He's been a huge inspiration, from where he came from to then he got to fight. But now he's at Zenger Sports. I think those guys all too could help me put together a nice podcast show. I want to get a show together where I get boom, 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 guest after guest after guest. Right now, I'm talking to 2 or 3 managers that are going to get me to their fighters and in big shows. I'm talking to another company that is an MMA company right now that is going to see about coming on and having their fighters come on. So things are moving in the right direction. The next couple of months, we will see how it goes. And I think ultimately it's going to be good. It's going to be good for our show, our brand. I mean, remember, this is a Zapata Brand Boxing podcast. Also, we have Straight Out of Jersey. My brother, Jersey Jay-Z, has his podcast there, Joe Zapata. And boy, is he involved in some RX muscle crap. Holy cow. It is everywhere over there. That's got to be straightened out. I don't know what's going on there. I got to stay out of that. I just kind of pop in every now and then when Greg's on to say hi to Greg. Greg's a good friend of the show. He's a good guy. So whatever happened with Armand and Lee and Jimmy the Bull and that, Larry, I kind of stayed away from it. I didn't say much. I have my own opinion on it. I have my own opinion on the people there on the show. They never done nothing to me, but the one guy, I wouldn't have a problem with. So, well, we got about 5 minutes, but I'm gonna have to go pick up my kid. He's at a basketball right now. Evidently, it's now all season basketball, 24/7, 365. I don't know. But, you know, some of the things that I want to make sure you can help us with is like and share this podcast. Support our sponsor, Ringside. They're great to us. Go out there, share our stuff, put it on it, and like and subscribe. That is important for us. But if you share it, it gets it out there. We can get those big guests on that you guys want on next couple of months. But other than that, remember, I will be back probably tomorrow. I want to come back tomorrow with Coach Diz. I want to come on with Coach Diz. Sogi, Coach Diz will be on tomorrow. You could talk to him about his nonsense, who he picked. So tomorrow, I'm going to try to get Coach Diz on. I'm going to try to get Jersey Jay-Z on right about this time. Kevin Iole looks like he's coming on Thursday. I'm going to try to get George Djokovic and Percy Crawford on also. And in a couple surprises, guess I'm going to have on pretty good fighters. And hopefully we can get them all on at the same time. But as always, remember, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do in yours. We'll see you tomorrow.